You are listening to the Truly Christian Podcast with biblical teachings on current and controversial topics by Quentin Wong. Subscribe, pull up a chair, and join the conversation. Find out what it really means to be a Christian. A Nazi gave his life to Jesus. Today on the Truly Christian Podcast, it is Wednesday and it's time for big testimonies. We're going to cover the story of a man by the name of Stangl, Stangl. And he worked at places called Sobibor and Treblinka. Now let's listen to the story. In 1942, Stangl was appointed commandant of Sobibor, an extermination camp in occupied Poland. Sobibor was not a labor camp. Nearly everyone who arrived was dead within hours. Later that same year, he was transferred to Treblinka, which was in chaos when he arrived. Trains were backing up, bodies lay unburied, guards were demoralized, and Stangl, he fixed this issue. How would you like to be? I fixed an extermination camp. How would you like that to be your story? Stangl, he recognized the camp was failing and needed assistance, and with great effectiveness, he was able to restore the camp to a well-operational extermination camp. He streamlined the arrival to death process. He improved gas chamber efficiency, and he increased daily killing capacity. This is what this man did. He was a professional killer. Now, under Stangl's command, Treblinka became the deadliest single-site extermination camp in Nazi history. Historians actually estimate that around 900,000 Jews were murdered there during his tenure. Now, this man, Stangl, later described his mindset. He said, "My conscience was clear. I was simply doing my duty." And to cope, he referred to victims not as people, but as cargo. Now, after the war, he escaped and had to start a new life, though. After the war, Stangl was briefly held by Allied authorities but escaped custody in 1948. With help from Catholic people, with help from a Catholic rat line network, the deeply controversial and shameful chapter of post-war history, and he fled Europe. He lived openly for years in Syria, then in Brazil, and Stangl worked at a Volkswagen factory, raised a family, and attended church occasionally. Neighbors described him as quiet, polite, and unremarkable. Can you imagine this man? He is now living his life after being a professional extermination camp runner or manager. He's now living a normal life working at Volkswagen. He's quiet, he's not disturbing people, and all those things. And for nearly 20 years, he was free. Now, in 1967, there was a Nazi hunter by the name of Simon Wiesenthal. He tracked Stangl down, and the Brazilian authorities arrested him and extradited him back to West Germany, where Stangl was tried for his crimes. For the first time, he could not hide behind names, faces, or a certain new lifestyle, but he had to face the voices of the people that he hurt, the people that he killed. And those people, some of them that lived through it, or some of those that knew of him, spoke directly to him in this trial. And in 1970, he was convicted of mass murder and sentenced to life in prison. Now, while in prison, Stangl granted a series of interviews to journalist Gita Serini, whose work is considered one of the most important psychological studies of Nazi perpetrators. At first, Stangl insisted he never killed anyone personally. He had no choice, and he was only doing his work as a clog in a machine. But over months of the interviews, his defense began to collapse. And eventually he said words that he had never allowed himself to say before. He would say things like, "My guilt is that I am still alive." And he acknowledged that redefining people as cargo was how he survived morally, but it was a lie and he could no longer deal with the pain. I could have known, and I chose not to. In other words, he just blocked out his knowing of how he was treating people. Now, Stengel was raised Catholic but had long abandoned belief in any meaningful way. And as his health deteriorated in prison, he requested a priest to come to talk to him. Stengel's repentance or his desire for a priest was not dramatic, it was not emotional, it was quiet, slow, and very burdensome for him. And the prison chaplain later testified that this man, Stengel, accepted full responsibility for the sins he had committed. He did not ask for release. He did not attempt to soften his crimes. He expressed the horror at the scale of what he did and his sorrow over those things. And shortly before his death, Stengel reportedly said, "I was there, and that is enough. I know what happened. Basically, I knew what I did." And he was ready to give his life to Christ. Now, being under a Catholic priest, I believe what he did was he confessed and he did maybe the sacraments or whatever it may have been. But it's very real possibility that this man gave his life to Jesus. He knew he did wrong. He wanted some relief from the burden of guilt, and he called for somebody religious because he didn't know where else to go. And so this man apparently led him to confessing his sins and all those things. But I believe if he really wanted Jesus, then he really did give his life to God, even at the end of his life. Now, his name was Franz. Franz Stengel died of heart failure in prison in June of 1971, one day after completing his final interview with the woman last name Sireni. There was no execution, no public reckoning at the end. He just died quietly behind walls with the knowledge of what he had done finally in his heart. Now, Stengel repented under the slow pressure of truth. And he struggled with his memory. He struggled with the things that he did. This leads to a powerful question. Will God save someone at the end of their life if they give their life to him? I believe 100% the answer is yes. It's hard for a lot of us to accept and believe that at the end of their life, someone can live horribly, awfully in their lifetime, and at the end of their life, give their life to Jesus and their life be saved. They go to heaven when they die. It's hard for us to understand that. But the love and grace of Jesus Christ is that he came to die on a cross for sinners, that he came to give his life for people that needed salvation. Jesus said this, that he came into this world not to help those that are not sick, but those that are sick. He is the great physician. He's the doctor that can heal any broken heart, any disease. And he wants to do that for the lowly, the down low, the broken, and the sinners, not for those that don't need him. And so, yes, Jesus can save anyone at any time period in their life. And obviously, no, if they're just coming and saying, "I want to escape," that's not salvation. But if they know they've done wrong and they want Jesus and they want to start over, they want God to be their number one, they want forgiveness of sin, Jesus will come into their life. He will change them and he will make them a new person. Hey guys, thank y'all for listening today to the Truly Christian Podcast. Don't forget to like and to subscribe. And also, I'm giving away a free ebook, Loved. It is a Christian devotional challenge for those that are in love. Valentine's Day is right around the corner. Don't miss out on that opportunity. How do I get that free ebook? All you have to do is send your email to Truly Christian Podcast on Facebook. Find my page, or you could send it to my personal page, Mr. Q Quentin Walton, and you could send it there, and I will send you a link to the free ebook that is available only this week. So get it while you can. Read it between you and your wife. Hope you enjoyed this testimony story. God bless you. Let God be true and every man a liar. Thank you for listening to the Truly Christian Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment so we can answer the questions that are most important to you.